Hello, my name is Jared Podbelski, and I will be discussing the current issues with Sacramento River salmon for this video presentation, a Chico State final project. The focus will be how to maintain and improve populations for this species of salmon, named Chinook, and also called king salmon for their large size. All salmon are adronomous, meaning they spend part of their life in freshwater and part in saltwater. The salmon begin their life in small streams and rivers where they hatch about the size of a pea. They live and grow to 3 to 4 inches in freshwater for approximately a year, feeding on insects and invertebrates. When juvenile salmon are ready, they travel to the ocean, which is a very vulnerable trip for the fish. With little habitat and many predators, once in the saltwater, salmon live in schools swimming the open ocean hunting for sardines, anchovies, shrimp, and plankton. After 3 to 4 years in the Pacific, the adult salmon begin a one-way migration back to the same spot they hatched. The mature salmon change color from silver white to a dark red and also stop eating completely. As the salmon begin to migrate back, they are again vulnerable and are targeted by commercial and sport fishing boats as well as sharks and sea lions. The small percentage of fish that make it back to this place they hatched spawn and have fertilized eggs left behind for the life cycle to begin all over again. The geography of California Central Valley creates a massive freshwater river system that is habitat to many species. The Sacramento River is the largest river in the state and has many smaller rivers and tributaries running into it, including the American, Feather, and Yuba rivers. Over the last century, many dams and canals have been made, altering and removing access to much of the salmon's natural habitat. The best example of this is Shasta Dam in Redding, where salmon can no longer pass to reach hundreds more miles of river that is farther to the north in Modoc and Siskiyou counties. Another example includes Oroville Dam and Red Bluff Diversion Dam, results of the Central Valley Water Project. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife does manage the fishery, and the Sacramento River salmon are also considered a protected fishery the time they spend in California waters, but while in international waters, they do not have any protection. Since the loss of most of the salmon's spawning grounds due to the California water system, a system that supplies fresh water to the entire state for all uses, including agriculture and residential, the department has maintained the salmon's population using fish hatchery facilities, like Coleman Hatchery in Redding, built about the same time as Shasta Dam. The salmon swim into holding tanks below the hatchery, where eventually workers process the fish, removing eggs, and fertilize them by hand. When the fish hatch, they are raised at the facility in small pools where they grow large enough to be released back into the river. The state also has strict regulations on both commercial and recreational fishing, in addition to required licenses. The revenue generated from license sales helps fund research into the ecosystem the fish live in. Biologists working for the state use tagged fish, fish counts, and surveys taken from people fishing to compile data that they eventually use to measure the health of the population. For more than one reason, the population has been declining in the past decades. The obvious cause for this, due to continuous drought, is the lack of fresh water needed for both young and mature salmon to survive. In order to help salmon populations grow in the future, I believe there needs to be more done. First off, I think more education for responsible water use and conservation, especially in times of drought. Second, a new hatchery facility for the Sacramento River to replace the outdated Coleman hatchery with modern technology, more space, and for further research, and more capacity for juvenile salmon. Last is a strategy used by the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife. They provide incentives to catch and keep fish that are predators to young salmon making their way out to the ocean. These cash payouts can and have greatly increased salmon populations in rivers to the north by reducing predator fish populations, mainly pike minnow.